What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Today I am going to be looking at a live match between Akemia and Cutenewb, who is a returning player. For those of you who do not know, these are both 8-bit veterans. Cutenewb was an 8-bit top player back in the day, but Cutenewb is pretty out of practice, so let's see how this goes. See, are both players going to send their forward HQ to the middle? It looks like they might. Cutenewb with a barracks, Akemia with a barracks. Looks like both forward HQs go into the middle, so we are going to have a middle fight. Let's see what Cutenewb's next building is. Akemia with a refinery. Interesting. Alright, Cutenewb going motor pool in the center, trying to get that rally as close to the middle as possible. These players are looking neck and neck in terms of build speed. Let's see. Akemia with a motor pool, Cutenewb with a refinery. Still pretty much neck and neck. So Akemia might actually be very slightly ahead. Cutenewb looking like they're going a little low money. That's probably why. Akemia is playing the green overlords, and Cutenewb is playing the cyan sentinels. Cutenewb with a power plant. Akemia should also be building a power plant, and they are building it faster. Akemia with a slightly more meta build, able to avoid running out of money and gaining the building lead. Tech Lab out from Akemia. APC does come out. The APC is tricky. It's a good unit, but not overpowered. However, it can punish you really hard if you don't know how to micro against it. So we'll see how Akemia does against that. Cutenewb motor pool spamming, that is good. That is the current meta for Sentinels, to spam motor pools for a little while and stay Tech 1. Akemia's got their Tech Lab out. They should be getting tanks soon. What is Akemia building? Okay, Akemia a little bit slow on the building there. Looks like they were focusing on the APC. Cutenewb just building away like a machine. He's getting his economy back online. So I do think, let's have a little count. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 buildings for Akemia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for Cutenewb. So Cutenewb, while they started out a little bit behind, is a building ahead now. But Akemia is getting tanks out. Tanks are very, very strong. Cutenewb going for double APCs. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because while the infantry inside the APCs can't get crushed, it is a lot easier for a tank to kill an APC than... Uh-oh. Looks like we might have one player lagging out. A lot easier for a tank to kill an APC than to fire down on the infantry. Tanks can crush infantry, but if you're microing well and you got the good rocket car support, they shouldn't really be. I like to have one APC and then use my infantry as kind of a front line to tank hits for my rocket cars. I think that is the way to go. Let's see, Akemia getting a turret, spamming motor pools. Now, Overlords has a really big advantage in these land maps because tanks are so strong. The Cutenewb's really only way to win is if Akemia messes up or Cutenewb gets some really solid harvester kills. So let's see. Cutenewb getting a power plant. I'm expecting a radar from Cutenewb soon. Let's see what we get. What do we have? Cutenewb building. Cutenewb might be focusing on the army. Oh, Tech Lab coming out for Cutenewb. So Cutenewb is going to be going for Tech Lab, I believe, followed by radar. Akemia still spamming motor pools. Akemia's on 5 motor pools at the moment. Cutenewb on 5 as well, looks like. Which means the tanks are going to be really hard to stop here. But Cutenewb's micro is going to be pretty solid, I expect. Both players wary to attack the other. For those who don't know, defender's advantage. If you're fighting in your own buildings, the enemy units will hit your buildings instead of your units some of the time. You can have turrets and things to help you out. So this could really just come down to who is able to kind of hunker down better and hide behind their buildings. Akemia should have the advantage here due to tanks being overpowered, but Cutenewb is so far holding pretty well. The siege artillery is one unit that is quite solid from sentinels. It's not very good for fighting, but because of its immense range and high building damage, it's a great pressure unit. It can force Akemia to fight inside Cutenewb's buildings, because it can actually shoot Akemia's buildings from outside their own range. See if that's what Cutenewb goes for. Is that going for... Okay, Cutenewb does look like they're using it to fight the army, which it doesn't suck against a blobbed army like this, but there are better units for fighting. Typically, you only want a few siege artillery, and then you want to make the rest specters. Too many APCs out for Cutenewb. You do not want that many APCs. Unlike bunkers, infantry that are in an APC do just die when the APC dies, so you got to be real careful about that. Oh, Cutenewb getting a little bit of lag. Let's see. Ooh, Cutenewb with armory tech. Let's see how Akemia deals with that. Rage tanks are, funnily enough, Sentinel's first unit that they have access to that actually beats tanks. So Akemia is going to need to back this up with their own armory tech. Do we see anything like that from Akemia? I don't yet. See if Cutenewb knows how to use the rage tanks. They are only good if you know how to micro them. Rage tanks give off an AoE when they're being dealt damage, so you want to maneuver them right into the middle of your opponent's army. Akemia has a radar, getting their own artillery. Spectre harass, though. Let's see if Akemia is able to fight on 2 fronts like this, deal with this fight up here, and prevent these harvester kills. There's Akemia's radar. Akemia, getting little lag spikes. Akemia sees the rage tanks. Akemia should be trying to get their own armory. Yeah, the rage tanks, that's brutal. That looks like it could be game. Akemia with a lot of artillery, but the thing with artillery is it can get a lot of value for overlords, but if your opponent dodges the shots, since they don't automatically hit, it's kind of just free for your opponent, because it's really hard for the artillery to hit a moving target. Rage tanks go in. Akemia just doesn't have the DPS to bring them down. Akemia still motor pool spamming. How many nodes is Akemia on? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Akemia's got to be broke. Cutenewb on 1, 2, 3, 4. Getting their 5th. Okay, both of these players should be broke. Cutenewb with a node up here that's not fully saturated. Get a good battle cam on this. That's not amazing. Ooh, let's screenshot that for the thumbnail. Ooh, actually, that might be a good thumbnail. Let's spam that. That's probably the thumbnail of the video. Rage tanks going in. Akemia does have a big numerical advantage, but Rage tanks just get so much value. They are so hard to bring down, and artillery is not what you want against Rage tanks. You need high DPS. Akemia should be building... Of all... Akemia should either be spamming tanks or building heavy tanks. I think heavy tanks are a little bit better in this scenario, because while tanks are overall a stronger unit, the heavy tank's greater size means there's less susceptible to the Rage tank AoE. Cutenewb getting some real value with the Rage tanks. Let's see. It does look like Akemia's replaced those harvesters. Akemia's own armory comes out. So armory tech units are extremely expensive. They demand a lot of your economy. So this will probably come down to who's able to better fund their unit production. Cutenewb is starting to get building snipes. Cutenewb on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 refineries. Looks like. Cutenewb should really be getting a refinery here. Akemia on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like only 5. So with Cutenewb getting building snipes, in addition to having an extra refinery and a stronger economy, this looks like a game Cutenewb. Looks like Cutenewb's game to lose, but let's see. Chain tanks are really, really good. I think chain tanks are a better unit than rage tanks. So let's see if Akemia can use them to make up the difference. Ooh, Akemia is starting to clean up these rage tanks. Chain tanks finally able to kind of overcome the insane health pool. But chain tanks damage is so solid. They have a little bit of an AoE. They are really, really, really good. And let's see. If I'm Akemia, I'm ignoring these rage tanks and trying to focus on killing these other units, because that's where the real damage is coming from. Rage tanks do next to no damage. You do not want to sit in this artillery volley. The artillery is mainly used for killing buildings, but it does have very high damage. And while it pretty much can't hit a moving target due to its pretty much lack of AoE, if you sit there and you let it hit you, you'll feel it. Cutenewb getting some little lag spikes. Cutenewb does get a turret up. It's looking like Cutenewb is going to defend this pretty handily. Akemia getting their own artillery. I don't love that move, because all this I mean, the artillery is good for killing infantry, but the chain tank could really just run back here and crush all this infantry. Chain tanks are one of the fastest ground units in the game. They're tied for first with a few other things in terms of speed, and they can crush. So there's really nothing Cutenewb could do to protect his infantry if Akemia did decide to crush it. Mega rocket turret comes out. That's gonna, I mean, it's gonna help. It'll chip away a little bit. Cutenewb not microing against the artillery. It does actually start to get some value. Has Akemia? No, Akemia still has an armory. Maybe he's building... Okay, now he's building chain tanks. Just trying to get some artillery up, I suppose. This is looking like it's steadily swinging into Cutenewb's favor. Akemia doesn't have a massive armory units the way Cutenewb does. Cutenewb continuing to destroy building after building, keeping up the economy. Akemia GG's out. Alright, that was pretty close for a while. Props to Akemia for holding out that long. Akemia actually made more money. That's surprising. But just Cutenewb's a little bit better micro, higher units killed, and destroying so many more structures was the nail in the coffin. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.